on to the MLB. The Subway Series, first of the season, was held this weekend. The Yankees took the series 2-1. They were good games, though.
Yeah, of course, great games. Things to look out for in there. Alex Rodriguez, of course, hit that monster home run last night. What could you say? He's just having a great season. It's great to see.
One away from tying Willie Mays' record, 660.
Yeah, everyone seems to like that stat except for the Yankees, who don't really. We'll see if they end up paying it. The $6 million bonus, of course, I'm referring to, that he would get if he does tie him. So we'll see if he does get to that. I'm sure that he will within the next week. But we'll see. It should definitely be an event to look forward to.
I mean, I know we're only like 19, 20 games into the season, but he has 5 home runs, puts him on pace for 30 home runs for the season. That'd be pretty impressive after being out of baseball for a year and a half.
Yeah, and of course, and it really is. It's great to see the redemption story that Alex has gone through over the last year, not playing in baseball, and just comes back and has a phenomenal season. And hopefully he's clean while he's doing it. I'd expect him to be.
Definitely under a lot more scrutiny right now.
Right, of course. And so the other thing to look at is CC Sabathia. Didn't really have a great outing on Saturday. Really kind of proved the fact that he's not their ace anymore. Maybe he's even a number 3 starter right now behind Pineda as well.
I agree.
So, looking at that, looking forward, we should see how CC does. But yeah, Saturday was not a great outing for him.
Yeah, but the Mets were on a 12-game winning streak before they got stopped by the Bombers. So
yeah, of course.
That's nice to see.
So you look at the Mets, and the Mets right now are a red-hot team. Even with this series coming in, they had all those wins in a row, and we weren't expecting to win all 162 games. It wasn't going to happen. They were going to lose eventually. It just so happened that it was to the Yankees. And of course, they had that little Twitter fight, as you saw Sunday night, with the Mets and the Yankees trading jabs at each other. No one really coming out on top. Just It was funny.
It was just a little fun. They weren't really doing it to be mean. Another thing that happened in baseball, Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals will probably be out for the season with a ruptured Achilles heel injury. There'll be some more developing information on that in the next couple of days. But an interesting point brought up by it happened while he was batting, not while he was pitching. So the DH rule, and how do you feel about it? I know I'm a little skeptical.
Well, I've always been in favor of the DH rule. I think that it creates another position for a player to be up there. It also weakens the bullpen a bit, but you're not getting as much of shoulder injuries when you're at bat. We've seen too many shoulder injuries with pitchers in recent years, of course, in batting activities. And so I really think it's the time that the purists be quiet and just let the game flow. We're in a new age where shoulder injuries have become way too much for pitchers, and I think that both leagues should have equality and have a designated hitter.
I agree. I think there really should be a DH position in both leagues. It is fun to see the pitchers get up to bat, but when you're thinking about longevity and career, these pitchers now, they're built just to pitch. They're not built to hit like in the old days. And honestly, when the pitchers you think of, they're built to pitch, but they're built to pitch with such high velocity that's why they need the 5 days rest, and not like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, where pitchers could come out and throw games 2 days apart because we didn't know that much about resting and stuff. So I think some research should really be done about that for the DH position with pitchers batting.
Yeah, and of course, and you look at the AL pitchers, and they tape up their entire arm, because that should just show you how sore they are. And to then go hit, on top of that, it really takes your arms out. And so with the longevity of the careers, you've seen most of the pitchers actually transition to an AL team so that they do not have to hit. So moving forward, I do see baseball as a changing sport. We've seen it with instant replay that everybody was against. But I do think the DH is in order for the NL.
Right. And, it's another interesting topic to talk about in terms of controversy in baseball is the parks, the distances in the parks, the inconsistency that they have, whereas every other sport is very precise, distinct, everything is to a T. Baseball is unique in that the park can make it whatever it wants to be.
Yeah, of course. You look at like Yankee Stadium, you can't compare that to another sport with like Madison Square Garden. Like, what if the sideline was 5 feet more at Madison Square Garden? It would be a completely different game. But I think that's what's great about baseball is that each city has its own unique little niche about their park. And so like you look at Fenway Park and you have to hit over the monster, and you kind of mold your hitters towards that. So the Yankee Stadium right field porch, that's 314 feet. You kind of mold your hitters towards that. And now we look this series at the Mets Yankees, where Met fans were complaining, oh, that wouldn't be a home run in Citi Field. Well, in the Yankees' standpoint, that is a home run every single time. It would have hit the top of the wall, or it would have gone over in most other ballparks. And so I think it's kind of cool that you see this difference in different ballparks. It kind of gives the cities get their own little niche in baseball.
And I guess that's why home field advantage is so important and why they play for it at the All-Star break.
Right, of course. And so that's actually the reason why they have done it, and I think that that's something that should continue, because it's made the All-Star game such a festival that we like to watch, as opposed to like the Pro Bowl, where maybe that something comes into play with that in the next couple of years.
They've been talking about that. That's true. But I guess home field advantage is so important. I don't know if you've seen, but the Miami Dolphins' new stadium in football, the whole stadium will be in about 92% of shade, and the 8% that's not shaded is the opposite team's sideline and a couple rows of seats behind it, so that they're in the heat and the sun the whole game. And in Miami, it's always hot.
Yeah, of course. And so you see that as a home field advantage kind of a thing, which is kind of cool. It's their own little way of having baseball. And you take a look at what it used to be. The Miami Marlins, when they were the Florida Marlins, they actually used to play there. And so you'd see the outfield grass has that wear and tear of a football field towards the end of the season. And so, in the NL East, when they normally play towards the end of the season, you look and the grass is totally worn, and so for outfielders it's a little tougher. So there's that other side of the home field advantage, but it's definitely one to continue in baseball. I don't see it changing.
And that's all that we have for this week. Thanks for joining us with Brett Malmer. I'm Mike Bergner, and I hope you've enjoyed sitting around our table.
I like that. That was awesome. Good send-off. Hope you enjoyed sitting.
Did we cover everything? I think so.